Here's the decision rule that I like, and I like it because it's boring and it works. If lead volume is rising, but sign retainer count is flat, treat it as a retainer gap problem, not a traffic. That single rule prevents a lot of wasted spend and a lot of unnecessary vendor churn. Now, there's a counterpoint that matters here, and I don't want to ignore it. Sometimes marketing really is the issue. If you are attracting the wrong case types, if your message is generic, if your market is saturated, you can absolutely, without a doubt, buy a lot of attention that never converts. But even then, the way you would diagnose it is still through the retainer gap. I mean, you do not fix it by staring harder at impressions. You fix it actually by seeing where intent dies. So operationally, and this is important, there are a few places intent commonly die in law firms, and you already probably know them if you're being honest with yourself. So the first thing, it dies when follow-up speed is inconsistent. A form comes into your website and the first human response is hours later. It's definitely going to die when consult scheduling is treated as administrative instead of strategic. And what happens is that the best consult slots, they're just not protected for the best leads. So then it also dies when conflict check process is slow or unclear. What happens is then the PNC feels like they're just waiting in your hallway. It also dies when the consult is long on information and short on the clear next step. So the potential new client leaves with homework instead of a decision. And it definitely dies when the retainer sent versus the retainer sign gap is not owned by anyone. It just becomes a bunch of background noise. So take note what I didn't say there. I didn't say to fix this, you need to be on another social media channel. I didn't say that you need to add more content to your website. And I didn't say go get a new marketing agency. Yeah, sometimes those things are true and you should do them, but they're not first principles. In this case, what we're talking about right now, first principles are, can your law firm move a qualified prospect from first contact to sign retainer without friction that feels disrespectful of the prospect's urgency? And if you answer that question with a no, the retainer gap is just going to eat whatever you spend. I mean, yeah, you can buy more leads and still feel tight. You can rank higher and still have uneven consult calendar. You can even have a great brand that people know and love and lose the momentum when you have prospects that are ready to sign. The practical way to use this is to make your reporting match your economics. So do this. Ask for a view that starts at intake source accuracy and ends at sign retainer count, with the conversion steps all in between those two. If your vendor cannot speak to that, it does not automatically mean they're bad. It actually just means that the reporting is not aligned with how law firms actually make money. That's why we're here. Intentionally, and what I want you to do is treat intake like a revenue function, not a front desk function. Give someone ownership of follow-up speed. Make conflict checks time-bound enough that they do not quietly sabotage conversion. Standardize what a consult must produce, regardless of which attorney is running it. And track the retainer sent versus retainer signed as a metric that gets discussed at every opportunity, not a metric that just gets buried under the rug. And I'll tell you from experience that when you do that, something subtle changes. The conversation stops being, is marketing working? And it actually becomes, where exactly is the retainer gap widening? And what is the smallest operational change that closes it? We've got to stop it from getting larger. And that's a calmer conversation to have, by the way.